Hi everybody, my name is Valerie G and I would like to thank you for joining me today. We will be working with May Arts ribbon, penny black stamps, and a number of other supplies to create a super cute card. And I'm going to show you a little trick for turning these very unfortunate brads that so many of us have into something that is actually beautiful and usable on your next project. So let's get started. Okay, so today I am going to be working on some Nina Solar White cardstock, and I am starting off with the penny black stamp. It's called Kisses, and I just think she is adorable. Part of why I picked her is because my younger daughter puckers up her lips just like this when she wants to give you a smooch, and so this one really spoke to my heart. So we're going to start with inking up our stamp with VersaFine ink from Sukaneko. I love this ink. It gives a super crisp impression and really fine detail. Now some people use this ink just on its own when they are going to be coloring with Copic markers. I do find that it still bleeds, and so you will see I will clear emboss this image so that the ink is trapped underneath the embossing powder and we don't have to worry about any kind of bleeding. So she is super cute just as she is, but I am going to be making a St. Patrick's Day card and I want to go ahead and make her just a little bit more seasonally appropriate. So I am going to take this teeny tiny heart stamp that came with an alphabet set that I have in my stash from eons ago. I'm going to use my Stamp-A-Majig to position this stamp in exactly the right location, just like this. And again, I am using that VersaFine ink, and I am going to turn her little heart necklace into a 4-leaf clover. So now we're going to go ahead and heat emboss this. I do keep my clear embossing powder in a jar, Tupperware container here. Just keeps it nice and easy to use, and then we can tap off any excess. I do like to brush away any excess powder that I see and make sure that there's not too much on the inside of the image, because if there is, that will of course resist your Copic markers and then you'll end up with little clear polka dots all over your image. So we're just going to go ahead and heat emboss this. Okay, so I'm back and I have finished coloring in my image. I think she turned out super cute. I'm going to go ahead and put her to the side so that we can work on the embellishments for the sentiment. The sentiment we're going to use today is this Kiss Me stamp. It is from Penny Black as well, and it's actually called XXX. Super cute, but instead of the dot on the eye, I would like to change that into a shamrock made out of heart brads. Unfortunately, the brads that I have that are shaped like hearts come out of this horrific mix of really ticky-tacky brads that I ordered from a mail order catalog, and they are not very attractive in general. So we're going to take this brad, which is a purple heart, and we are going to go ahead and modify this so that we can use it on our card. And what we're going to do is take some Versamark ink from a stamp pad, Zing embossing powder. This is a metallic finish green, and it is an opaque embossing powder, which is what allows this to work. Tweezers so we don't burn ourselves, and of course a heat tool. So what you need to do is take your brad and smash it into your Versamark pad. Get it nice and sticky so that the embossing powder will stick to it. Go ahead and open up your embossing powder and grasp your brad with tweezers. You don't even need to dump this out. You can just dip the brad straight into the powder. Give it a little tap to take off the excess. And then we're going to go ahead and zap this with a heat tool real quick. And just like that, we have this fantastic green, shiny, metallic finish. It works with a glitter embossing powder. Anything you want to modify the brads that you currently own so that they can match your current project. So I'm going to go ahead and do this with the rest of my brads, and then we will come back and work on the sentiment. Okay, we're ready to move on with the next step of our sentiment. I am going to ink up this stamp. I'm going to try to do it carefully so that I can avoid inking the circle that is above the eye. So I have a scrap piece here of the Neenah Solar White cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this down. I'm not exactly sure how I am going to put this sentiment on my card, so giving myself quite a bit of space around my sentiment. And then I am a big fan of embossing sentiments. I think that it adds that extra layer of shine and a nice finishing touch to all of my projects and cards. So I do like to clear emboss all of those, tap off the excess. And here are my 4 heart brads. Have all of those finished. And now I just need to get them placed on here. It's a little bit tricky to get the first few in the right spot, but we're going to go ahead and put in the first one upside down. Force that through your paper there. Then I like to go ahead and get an idea of where I need to poke my hole. Just helps with the placement of those brads. Give it a little start there. Okay, so I am finished with my sentiment. I have added that custom 4-leaf clover with my brads to the top, all done. Looks fantastic. Now we're going to move on to the next step. I have taken my little Copic colored girl, added some adhesive onto the very outside edge of this piece. And now, using the May Arts ribbon, we can simply pinch and fold this ribbon to make a ruffle around the card. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I like to muck with it and tweak it until it ends up exactly how I like. But when I'm done, I will come back and show you so you can see how cute that is when she's all finished. Okay, so I'm now finished adding my ruffle edge onto my image with my ribbon. I think it turned out super cute. And I went ahead and took my sentiment and punched it out with a tag-shaped punch. This was a little tricky because of the brad, so if you know that this is how you're going to cut out your sentiment, you may want to do that before you add the brads because they made it pretty tricky to get into the actual punch. I added some faux stitching and then stapled on a length of the May Arts ribbon, and now we're ready to go ahead and put the card together. I've prepared a card base. It is 5 by 7, and I also prepared a mat for my image so that she'll really pop on the front of this card. So we're going to go ahead, get this adhered to the front of our card, just like that. I have added some foam dimensionals to the back of my image to give it some extra pop and to give the ribbon a little bit of room on the back. I'm going to go ahead and mount her a little bit high rather than perfectly centered on the card, just so I have a little bit more room for my sentiments, which I have also added some foam dimensionals to, and that is going to go right down here in the bottom corner, like that, and there we go, our finished project. So again, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you had fun. I know I did. And I'd like to also make sure to thank May Arts Ribbon and Penny Black Ink for providing me with the opportunity to join you guys on the blog today. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks.